言うことは一つだけ。絶対負けねえ。これで決める。行くぞレオ、決めろサンタ。もらった。行くぜ。
How's it going, everyone? It's Something XS here with a banner review of the Brazilian national team transfer for the Warring World Warriors. There's a lot to cover here. There's a lot of units, and I'm going to cover all 7 of them. I know that you guys think that Santana is not in the banner, but in fact, he is. He is just not a pickup character, so he does not get any bonus chance to picking him up. However, he is still present in the banner, and if you're trying to get him, now is basically the only time from then and now. Unfortunately, his rate is very low, so it is what it is. However, let's take a look at these characters to see which ones are worth pulling and which ones are just not. First off, we're going to start with Carlos Santana, the Promised Glory. Frankly, no one's quite sure why this Santana exists. This version does have a better passing stat than the older blue version, and probably better passer baseline than the recent red Santana. He's got a worse dribble and is really not significantly stronger at shooting to really deem him that useful. Also, what's really bizarre is his S shot's really weak for a 3-player shot. It's a 450 cap shot that requires 3 players to be on the field. That's really bad. It should have just been like a 520 shot or something crazy like a 495 or just something strictly better than what it was. There's no reason to take this shot over every single other shot that he can learn. Like frankly, he learns a 440 shot with 2 blowaways, and long distance he knows a 465 shot with long distance, and then he just knows a 465 shot that's expensive for no reason, and that's all there is to it. And then he has Skywing twin shot with Tsubasa, which is a 475, actually it's like a 495 cap that requires just Tsubasa. So like there's so many other shots, why would you care about this one? He does have an interesting passive though. It negates the bonus that blue players get against him. I just think it's wasted on this unit. This unit's not very good. So pros, he's a decent member of the 10K club, I guess, in shooting. He has a great 15-10 forward South American passive, which is quite nice for Rainbow South America. He's decent enough at dribbling and at passing. He has good skill support, and he comes with a dribble and a 1-2, so you can use him as soon as you get him. Now for the cons, he's kind of underwhelming after the previous release of the full body stand red Santana from a couple banners ago, and compared to the blue Santana in the same banner. His main S shot needs 2 other players to use. Those players only have decent versions in this banner. For a limit break, I would take 21 dribble, 3 speed, 25 shot, 25 power, 22 pass, 3 technique. He's just, I don't know what to do with this character. I don't know that there's a limit break that can save him, quite frankly. As for his stats, he's got 982 stamina, and his stats culminate in more or less an 8,059 dribble, 10,588 shot, 8,676 pass. Kind of non-existent on defense, whatever. Everything's at least a 7.4 or higher. And as you can see, not quite impressive anywhere else. For his skill build, I would go that super speed combination play is something that you can't do anything about, even though you wish you could. Make sure you give him Santana turn and keep New Brazil football, because he's going to need it. Also, you may want flying drive pass so that you can actually pass the ball around, and super low golden eagle shot rounds it out. Frankly, you're going to need that because you're going to be using that a hell of a lot more than super speed combination play, which is really not that good to begin with. Frankly, if you don't have Pepe on the field, you're going to need that shot to be able to do anything with this version. I think he's kind of like a B. Frankly, he might be as low as C, but I felt bad giving him a C. I think he's probably a B only because his passive is so good. I mean, his team skill is so good, and his passive is very interesting. But frankly, given all the other Santanas that exist, he's a B Santana that you're never going to use because there's always a better Santana to pick. Like, you could have just bought one for $25 like a few weeks ago. Who cares? Now, the next unit in the banner is Pepe, Greed for Victory. And listen, if I told you there was a timeline where Pepe would be the best player in a banner that also includes Santana in it, well, you would think I'm crazy, right? Well, this is the timeline. At least for half of the game, he's the best player in the banner. He's got the same team skill set. He has the same team skill that Leo and Santana both get, which is great for Rainbow South America. But the benefit is that you could put Pepe on the bench and it's okay because he has super sub 25%. You know what that means? It means he's gonna hit the field in the second half. He's gonna be crazy strong. he's going to actually be in the 12K shot club in the second half. His passive drives his stats just really respectable heights in the second half, honestly. His S shot isn't crazy strong, but since it's not very expensive and he comes with a pass and a tackle to round him out, and you can give him an A dribble and an A or S 1-2, he's actually really competent in the second half. There's really no reason not to run him. If you're playing blue or if you're playing Rainbow South America or something like that. For the pros, he has he's basically a version of Pepe you're not going to feel bad about using. That's already a plus. There were no good Pepes until this one. His passive drives his base shot to over 12K in the second half, and most of his stats will go all the way up to 10K. That's before limit breaking too. He has access to the skills he'll need. He has a great Rainbow Forward South America team skill too. Now, the cons are that his shot skill isn't very powerful, his passing skill is also not very powerful, and his team skill support, his skill support is just pitiful. Most skills that you do get for him are hard to find because the units are just not that common, and there's only like 1 or 2 of them. Anyway, for the limit break, I do the same thing as Santana, unless you want to go for 25 speed. That is a possibility. 22 dribble, 25 shot, 22 pass, and then 3 speed, 25 power, 3 technique. Again, speed 25 is also a viable limit break for him, so you might want to consider doing that also. Now, for his stats, he's got stamina, 915, which is not much, but since he's a sub, you don't feel too bad about that. And his base stats are 8,405 dribble, 9,800 shot, 8,000 pass, 7,700 tackle, 7,900 block, 7,700 intercept. Nothing too crazy, but that's only in the first half. See, because in the second half, he actually gets a lot stronger. I don't think the stamina is correct. It might be that Super Stub also increases your stamina, but that looks incorrect. I think I just didn't put the stamina properly, so I think the stamina is actually 966, but don't quote me on that. It could just be 915, and I forgot to update it. However, his actual stats, so his dribble goes up to 10.5k, his shot to 12.3k, his pass to 10k, and his tackle, block, and intercept are higher than 9.6k each. He doesn't learn an intercept quite yet, so you can't really put that one to work. However, he does come with a tackle, so you can't try to use that instead. Again, 10k dribble, 12k shot, and 10k pass is pretty great on a forward, and he's pretty good at the tussle when he is on defense. If he's on offense, if he's in that situation for some reason. Now, for his skill build, obviously you have to keep the shot, you have to keep the pass, and you have to keep the tackle. That's what you get. Unfortunately, backheel pass is not a very strong pass, but at least it's an A version. Speed tackle is not too crazy either, but it's a generic tackle, but it's still pretty decent. However, you could teach him the S Brazilian wave attack from the crappy red version, and that's pretty good one too. And since he's gonna come in the second half, and you might have full power to start the match, and it might be your ball in the beginning, you may want that. High-speed South American dribble is a dribble that he learns from another version, so you may want to pass that over. Frankly, he has all the tools he'll need to bring the ball up for himself and enable other players and steal the ball from wayward defenders. And frankly, most importantly, he will actually be able to take a crack at the goal and not feel too bad about it. He's super competent. It's really baffling that he's the competent player on this banner. He's a terror of a second half sub for any team that's running blue South America or South America Japan or some other sort of blue combination where the forwards are buffed. Particularly in 3-4 formations where you may take out your support forward after they're tired to put this guy in. It's hard to not give him an S, frankly, considering how strong he gets. He might be go for broke, I'm not sure. He is a striker and an enabler. It depends on if you need someone that's a super sub or not. Now, we have Leo, the trustworthy partner. He is the other new unit from this banner. His main problem is that it's related to marketing, right? It has to do with what people value in the meta. If you think about it, a formation where you run 3 to 4 forwards, it'd be great if the forwards could send passes and do things to enable fast break counterattacks. Leo is designed around that concept, except that he's limited to the full power football fast break counterattack. He's basically mediocre at everything but passing, and he's not great in that, but when you give him full power, he's 25% stronger, which is actually quite nice, but unfortunately it's very limited. He is conditionally strong. Not like Pepe, who's also conditionally strong, but he's conditionally strong for like a contiguous 45 in-game minutes or more, depending on if the game goes to extra time. Leo doesn't get that. In the end, he's unfortunately very limited as a character. There's just other better options at the forward position, including the other green Leo. Now the pros, he has a great rainbow forward South American team skill. He's a strong passer, and he's occasionally intensely sawing because of a passive. However, for cons, he's a passer out of the forward position, a position that usually comes at a premium, as very few people run 3 or 4 formations that just don't stack the front 3 with crazy shooters. And on top of that, he doesn't really have a whole lot of useful defensive ability to really take advantage of being a utility forward. Pedal to the metal is useless outside of full power. He's definitely a 25 speed and then go all out of pass, interception, and technique, because you're going to have to do something other than pass. For his actual stats, he is an 931 stamina character with 8.3 dribble, 7.8 thousand shot, 10.1 thousand pass, 7.7 tackle, 7.2 block, and 8.3 intercept. So his dribble and intercept are somewhat respectable, and his pass is where he's good at. If you keep the swift interception on him, he's actually kind of okay. You might want to pass him the swift intercept if you have a spare Leo and if you really want to use this version, but otherwise I'd frankly not bother with him. For his skill build, high speed through ball is what he comes with, so if you farm that from the green Chester of the Dream Pot, and you have somewhere to put it if that's what you want to do. South American dribble A, so A swift interception, S Brazilian golden duo if you can find it, and A killer pass. Just focus on the fact that you're good at passing and at the technique branch of skills, and just go all in. Just take South American dribble to keep people guessing during matchups, that way people don't just always intercept and get free full power, or throw a big intercept at you. Ace with interception is going to be very helpful, since he's okay at interceptions and he can harass defenders just fine with it. And that's really all you need to do. The best way to use him would be to dump the ball onto him, go into a matchup, and use either S Brazilian Golden Duo or A New Brazil Football, depending on what you have to give him, and bring the ball up. And then just keep bringing the ball up over and over until you can swing it into somebody else. And you gotta do this during full power, otherwise he'll be exhausted in 2-1-2s, and no one wants that. Go for broke for him? No. Even though his team skill is pretty nice, there are better South American team skills, frankly. And even though he is an enabler and a counterattacker, I would still rate him like a B. He's probably like only slightly better than Santana, honestly. Now let's talk about the units that are coming back. Carlos Santana, Lucky Star Striker. He is a blue forward. When people think of South American players, Santana always comes up as the premier striker from Brazil. This version, not bad. He's a member of the 10K club, although he's not very impressive. He has a bunch of skill support and acts to a bunch of different shots, and he comes with decent A1. Also, his overhead shot is buffed by his own passive. Unlike Nacho Reza, he's not good at high balls. That said, this version of Santana is surprisingly one of the best dribblers in the whole game. And since he provides a 15-10 blue South American team buff, he's certainly got a spot in many blue teams looking to improve the quality of that team. If you have, for example, a blue Hino that is also South American 15-10, that's great for you. He himself is just pretty decent. For the pros, he's pretty okay shooter in the 10K club. He has that 15-10 South American blue team skill. He has a high dribbling stat that's over 10K, and he's got good skill support. Cons doesn't come with his own dribble, so you're going to have to find a Santana turn to give him. But he does have a few sources for it, so that's fine. And he has an he explicitly doesn't learn an S high ball skill. It's kind of weird, right? And over here, when I say overhead shot, I actually mean he learns a volley. Sorry, he's not good at high balls like Nacho Reza, and he doesn't learn an S low ball skill. Sorry, I got confused there. I did that. Anyways, for limit breaks, there's a couple of them, and I actually included all of them because he's been around for a while. We can actually talk about them. The standard ones: dribble 25, speed 25, shot 25, power 25. It's straightforward. It does what you need it to do. Go ahead and go forth and conquer. Alternatively, you can only go in on 25 speed because his dribble is already good enough that you may not need to buff it, and take pass 2203 so you can buff up the fact that his pass is not very good. Alternatively, if you don't think you need to go that much faster, you can do dribble 2203 and you'll get 1000 dribble instead of 500. And you'll make him more competent at that. So if you use the 1-2, he'll be better, and you'll still if you use a dribble skill, you'll be better, and you'll still have the passing buff for your 1-2 skills. His actual stats: he's got 10K dribble, 10.1K shot, 7.6K pass, kind of bad, 8.1K tackle, 7.3K block, 6.9K intercept, and 982 stamina, which is actually quite good. For his skill build, I will take rolling arrow jumping overhead kick. Obviously, you can't get rid of it, so you're going to take it. A Brazilian golden duo, pretty good for him. A golden flying drive shot, A Santana turn, and A flying drive pass. He's basically your standard forward, except in this case, you'll be taking a pass to help him enable other players who are better positioned than he is. It's not because he's particularly strong at passive or anything. There are other options, of course. You can replace the pass with an S ground shot or a secondary shot, like the B super low golden eagle shot. You could also replace the A shot with the B shot, or instead of the A shot, give him golden flying drive shot, or you know the S version or the A version, because super low golden eagle shot has blowaways. Listen, it's up to you. You can build them all sorts of ways. Pick whichever shot you would like best. This is how I would build them personally, because I like having forwards with an option to get rid of the ball in case they're in a situation they don't like. Now for the next player in the banner, it's Alberto. Peerless defense. He is a defender. Surprise. His role as a defender is to defend. Surprise. He is mainly a pass cutter and a tackler. He's kind of evenly split in between both, but the real reason, let's talk about why he's particularly sought after. He's not particularly overwhelming or impressive. He's a decent pass cutter in his own right. He'd be a lot more impressive if his base intercept was higher than 9.3k, and at least his tackle is 9k, so he's like a dual threat, although not a humongously powerful one. The main reason he's highly desirable is the team skill. He does 15-10 for green South Americans. You know who's green and South American? Dreamfest Hino and Dreamfest Santana. So if you're trying to play green and you actually want to be able to send any Genzo or Mueller into the next dimension, you kind of need this guy on your bench to provide power for those two players. Otherwise, it's kind of underwhelming, actually. He's got a weak S skill and weak stats. His S skill only gets like 440. It's not a great intercept. And in general, he's just kind of disappointing as a unit. At least he's got 20% stamina killer, which is one of his pros, because that does make players wary about what they do. One matchup with Alberto, like Alberto against Hyuga, and Hyuga's out of gas immediately. He can't do another Raiju shot unless he hits full power, which is nice. He has a great 15-10 South American green team skill, as we just discussed. He's decently balanced in tackle and interception, and he's not an abject disappointment at passing. He's got like 8k. Now his cons are that the balance between tackle and intercept come at the price of neither of them being particularly great. And really, that wouldn't be so bad if Alberto learned a strong skill, but he doesn't. That's pretty unfortunate. For a limit break, I didn't highlight these, which is bad, but it's pretty standard. Tackle 25, speed 25, intercept 25, technique 25. There's really nothing else you should give him, even though he does learn sliding block. There's no reason to buff his block. He's very weak at it. You just take it in case someone is going to shoot like 99.99999% sure, and you're trying to build full power, but also maybe you might deflect the ball because you got lucky. Who knows? For his actual stats, 6.8 dribble and shot, no one cares. 8k pass, not bad. 9.9k tackle, 9.3k intercept, and 8k block, whatever. You know, it's pretty okay. He's mostly focused on intercept, as we were just talking about. 954 stamina is pretty good. For his skill build, give him the S shutout intercept. If you have a spare Dream Collection Alberto, give him the tackle too, because it's just way better than strong tackle. And if you are going to invest in skills, at least up to S3 for the Dream Cup, it's just probably better to have this tackle, which can actually do something, because strong tackle with his stats is only going to cut people who are particularly weak at dribbling, and it is what it is. The fact that he has stamina killer at 20% and also has blank, I am very good at finishing my thoughts. Oh, it's because I pressed enter. The fact that he has stamina killer at 20% also helps with a strong pass, is what I meant to do here, but I forgot to actually join my sentences. I am the worst. Basically, it helps in case you're trying to like convince the defender to not use the EX pass cut. Like, Santana's gonna run up on you like, oh, I got this EX pass cut, but it's really expensive. And oh man, this guy's got 20% stamina killer. Do I really want to pay 20% more just to try to cut this? And they won't, because they don't want to spend the 20% extra stamina on it. Like, that's a lot. That's like 70 stamina extra if it's like a 350 cost stamina. So that's pretty nice. I rate him A. He's pretty solid. It's almost entirely his team skill though. Maybe in actual usefulness outside of a green South American forward situation, he'd probably be B. But because he enables the 2 Dreamfest forwards that green has now, he's A. It's like an unfortunate like sequence of events that he's just like that. And I guess if you're playing like Roberto in your green team, he's actually pretty okay because he's South American, so he gets like a bajillion buffs. So, you know, for some people, he'll be fine. Now we got Nachareza, the king of football. He's one of the stranger versions of Nachareza. In this particular, it's because he's red, and he's particularly strong in red. And he's particularly strong in red South America because of his team skill of 15-10 red South American reds. The real reason why Nachareza is interesting is because 2-stage flying drive shot's crazy powerful. It's a non-combination volley with 490 momentum. Nachareza in general has got really big shots. Flying drive overhead kick is over 500. Miracle flying drive shot is over 500. And those don't need any help. They're very expensive, but they're crazy strong. And that makes up for the fact that they don't have like blowaways or anything. They're just huge cap shots, and it's because Nachareza is supposed to be this crazy talented player. And that forgives the fact that his actual shooting stat is like not insane. That said, he's still just an okay, mostly offensive unit. He'll shore up your offense, but he mostly exists just for red South American teams. However, in those, I think he's an A unit. For the pros, he's a decent offensive player. He at least has 8.6 in both non-shooting categories, so he's almost 9K in those, so that's nice. He has a passive that strongly buffs his main S skill, which is a volley. It's going to make him a lot stronger than 490. It kind of puts it in the realm or better than flying drive overhead kick and miracle flying drive shot. And he has a grade 15-10 South American red team skill. Now, cons are that he's like number 75th in shooting. Even though he's a 10K club shooter, he's 75th. He's also not very fast. It's hard for him to get into the box if you play him at forward, which is where he belongs, unless you use a skill. Like, you can't wait for him to get into the box and do your thing. He's not really going to shake off defenders. He's going to have to use skills to do that. For a limit break, I would do 22-3 dribble speed, 25 to both shot and power, and 22-3 pass technique. Although, he is also a candidate for the alternate limit break of just 25 dump into speed. Maybe 20 dump into speed with 5 dribble if you want to do that. That is viable because of the way that diminishing returns works. 20 speed is more or less the same amount of actual on the field speed, and you do get the extra boost of dribble, so that is very possible. Now for his stats, he's got plenty of stamina because he's Santana. I mean, he's not Regresa. He has tons of stamina after all. 1,058 stamina, 8.6 dribble and pass, 10.1 shot. Everything else exists. He does have 7.8 tackle though, so if you have a spare A tackle, it's worth to put on him. And he does have high and low ball bonuses. In the end, my skill build for him is kind of weird. I just do 2-stage flying drive shot and flying drive shot A. And then give him the A flying drive pass if he doesn't already come with it. Give him the A New Brazil football if you can find it. And A high speed shadow feint if you can pull it off another version. He has a good A ground shot, great S volley, and some strong options on the ground to enable himself and to enable others. And I mean, as I was just saying earlier, he's notable for having skills with high momentum. So if you run Santana, A Brazilian Golden Duo is a more viable option than A New Brazil football, and it does have more higher momentum, even though it's more expensive. Now the extra bonus of his enhanced special skills is that it stacks on top of the fact he's already good at low balls. So if you send him a low ball, 2-stage flying drive shot is actually particularly strong. That's what makes this Natureza actually kind of spooky. Now to round it all off, we have Salinas, Canary Sanctuary. He's the only decent, and really, frankly, the only blue South American goalkeeper. He's pretty decent. There's not much to say about goalkeepers like this, or like goalkeepers in general, because every single goalkeeper calculation winds down to an arms race. Can Salinas keep up with the current meta? Frankly, in this current meta, nothing keeps up right now except the top 3, and they're already having trouble. The answer is a resounding no. Only 3 goalkeepers, which are World Cup Genza, World Cup Mueller, and Dream Collection Murasaki, can shine in it. And really, only Green Salinas can hang because he can hit he can hit 60s in shot, in blocking. If you want to figure out what the best goalkeepers are, you should go watch Bay TV, because Bay TV has a video ranking the goalkeepers, and you may not understand what he's saying because maybe it's not in English, but you can actually look at his listing and you'll understand why. Salinas does have the benefit of cutting out long distance shooters, even if he's particularly weak at close-up shooters. Frankly though, the good part is that this Salinas is strong enough to at least force players to have to shoot from closer up, since his S99 catch is still an S99 catch, is pretty strong. His catching stats are actually still the number 2 in the game before a passive. If he had a real goalkeeping passive, it'd be awesome, but instead he just gets to save a lot of stamina, which I guess is nice against spammers, but against people who are going to run up on you and murder you, then it's useless. Pros, he's a solid goalkeeper with a skill with decent momentum, and his passive saves him tons of stamina, but the cons are that since he's not a participant in the collab goalkeeping arms race, he's not significantly powerful enough to really make clutch saves. He'll save the stuff he's supposed to, which is bad shots from outside the box, and without an S99, even with S99, he's just going to die to everything else because his GK skill is not a 475 plus skill. Limit break, standard catch power technique, nothing new to talk about. His stats, 9.2k punch, but 11.8k catch, nice. For a skill build, go with S perfect jump save, then A one-handed catch, then the new B one-handed catch, and then the C power catch from that old event if you still have it. There's just nothing else to write here. You have access to catches in every tier. Actually, you have 2 S catches, but only take perfect jump save because it's better. Use whatever you think will do the job depending on the opposing player's momentum and stats. It's going to take you forever to run out your stamina, so make sure you actually use it wisely within that constraint, because that way you will just be super annoying to get rid of until someone decides to just walk right up to you and actually shoot you with an S99 shot from an adjacent position. So I hope you have good defenders, because he can at least back up good defenders that can force people to stay away and to shoot from long distance, because there's just goalkeepers that can't do that. Anyways, guys, thanks for checking out this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please go ahead, click like, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you thought of the players in this banner. I know this banner is not a banner that many people were looking forward to, or that they enjoy, or that they wanted, or really anything. They did want Brazilian players back, but they wanted better Brazilian players than what we got. Frankly, the star of the banner is Pepe. He's actually quite good. And Salinas is nice if you need him. If you didn't get Mueller, I guess he is a good consolation prize. He's really the only consolation prize, so it is what it is. But yeah, also remember, guys, I now have channel memberships. If you want to do that, you can go ahead and join the channel by clicking the join button. You have to go to gaming.youtube.com/nothingexcess to do that. Why? I don't know. YouTube will eventually fix it. I contacted them about it. I'm still waiting to hear from them. And that will let you become a member. That will help you, will help me by having you support me financially. It's just $5 a month. If you can spare $5 a month, that's great. If not, you don't have to. Just click subscribe, click on the little bell, and you know, just lending me your normal support is more than enough. So thank you very much, guys, and I will see you soon. Cut.